Okay, so I am going to fill these beds up now, and I don't want to just buy a whole ton of potting mix to fill it up, because that'll probably cost $100 plus here to fill up. So I'm using this method. It's called the Hugelkultur, and doing my own little version of it. So it's pretty much where you stack logs on the ground and you make a mound, and then on top of the logs you use a lot of your green waste, green clippings, and then your brown waste, your twigs and leaves and stuff. So you create this mound and then you put your soil on the top. So as all the green waste and brown waste decomposes, it all the nitrogen and nutrients go down into these logs. So these logs sort of act like a sponge, I suppose. So just imagine them like a sponge. So when your soil sort of starts to become a little deficient, your plants, the roots and things go down, and then it sort of leaches out all the nutrients back into the soil, if that makes sense. So it's sort of like a recycling system. It's also a good way, because I'm going to use a lot more of these logs to fill up the space. So these are from an olive tree that we have, which we just chopped down a week ago. That's fine. And then, yeah, I've got, if you show here, so these are all the green waste that I've got. So a ton of weeds, like look. And these are weeds and leaves and twigs that I've just chucked in these things for like months. What is this? Some of this is probably 6 months old. Like you can see the, what do they call that again? Mycorrhiza growing through it. So it's all, yeah, so I'm going to stack this on top of the logs. And then I will put stack all of that, then I'll put my potting mix on the top, and then a little bit of compost on the top. Yes, I reckon I'd save literally half the cost, maybe 3/4 of the cost of buying potting mix. So yeah, I'll show you how I do it. So I'm just going to stack all of the smaller logs around the larger ones, and trying not to cover up the drainage holes that I have down there as well, because you still want to get a little bit of airflow and not restrict the holes so the water can drain out. The reason I've stacked these logs upright is so when it rains or when I water them, the water will actually penetrate through into the logs from the top. So that's that reason. And then yeah, so these smaller logs I'm just going to chuck on the sides. Okay, I think I'm going to get some mulch. So I mulched some of these smaller branches and made a big mound over there. So I'm going to get some of that to fill that in between all the cracks. Because I can't start putting the green waste on top here like this, because over time when I water it and I fill it with soil, it will literally just all keep going down like too fast. So I'll get some of my mulch, and then I'll try and fill up all the gaps before I start stacking the green waste and brown waste on top. Okay, so this is the mulched up olive tree. So this is all the smaller branches. So I'm just going to pour this all through to fill up a lot of the air pockets. So when I pack it with soil, it won't drop too much. I mean, it definitely will drop, but we don't want it to drop too much. Okay. I think that is pretty good. So, before I stack the green waste, all the weeds, and then the brown waste, the twigs and the leaves and things, on top I'm going to charge these timber and these wood chips. I'm going to put some fertilizer on here. Now, it's a little unconventional, but I have the thinking of it's sort of like charcoal. So a lot of people use charcoal in their soil in the gardens, but then charcoal is not actually that good because it absorbs so much of the nutrients. So what people do now is they actually activate the charcoal with all sorts of fertilizers and seaweed solution and things like that. So it absorbs it in and then it'll slowly release over time. So that's the kind of thinking that I'm gonna do with this. So I'm actually just gonna fertilize with some liquid. I'm gonna use some seaweed solution. What else have I got? Molasses and some blood and bone, some different type of fertilizers. So I'm gonna drench all this timber so it can absorb all of that goodness, and then eventually, slowly over time, it'll slowly seed up, and then the plant's roots will go, and then it'll bring it up. Okay, this is what I'm going to use in the fertilizer. So I've just got some sea salt, just going to pour that in there. I've got some molasses. This is just molasses, organic. Molasses has got a lot of good stuff that plants love, especially the sugars in it. I've been told by quite a few people that molasses is a secret ingredient. This is just my 5-in-1 organic fertilizer. So it's got your NPK, sulfur, magnesium, and then it's also got iron, magnesium, zinc, copper, and boron, whatever that is. And then just some blood and bone. Yeah, so I'm just going to pour that in here, and then I'm just going to drench all the timber with it. And then this fertilizer, I think I'll just pour the fertilizer and the blood and bone actually on the timber. Blood and bone as well. Gonna drench it right in there. Hopefully all this stuff really absorbs it all. A lot of it, some of it is just going to seep through, but a lot of it should remain on the top and then soak into all of the leaves and the mulch. Okay, I think that's it. So next we're going to use the green waste. So this is just all weeds, clippings, a little bit of paper towel my puppies have ripped up. So all these green weeds and leaves, that will all break down, and then that green waste will help break down the brown mulch underneath in the timber logs as well. So we go green and then we go the brown on top. So next is the brown waste. So this, again, just like that. Some of this is a month old, some of this is 6 months old. As you can see, some mycorrhiza through all this. So it's all different stages of nitrogen decomposing down. Yeah, so there's some small twigs and things in here as well, like sort of, that's fine. So the reason we put the brown nitrogen on top of the green is the green is going to create heat, and you don't want your, lettuce, young lettuce roots anywhere near that heat, because then it can burn them and will inhibit them growing. So the brown has sort of worked as an insulation layer against the decomposing green layer. Yeah, that looks pretty good. See, so now I'm gonna put some soil on top of here, like your potting mix and things, and then your compost. So now something that would have taken at least 15 bags of potting mix soil. So now I'm only going to use maybe like 1, 2, maybe 3 bags of soil and then 2 bags of compost. So yeah. Alright, this is my just my normal standard potting mix I use. It's got 12 months fertilizer in here, slow release fertilizer. So pretty much all the goodness that we just put in. Trying to shake it to jiggle it down. I think I'm going to put another bag on. So this is just another standard potting mix. Okay, so I want this to be quite full and high. Because there's still quite a few air pockets in there, it's going to drop. So after like a week of like rain and after we plant everything, it will drop quite substantially. So that's the soil potting mix. And now I'm just going to put some compost on top. So I've just got some organic compost here. and then some all-purpose mushroom compost, which I really like. Yeah, so let's put that in now. Okay, last bag. So this is just the organic compost. Okay, we're pretty much done now. Now that is extremely full, but like I said, this will drop probably about that much after the first month, I reckon, maybe a bit more. So I'm gonna plant some veggies in here now because I can't wait. And then as the level drops, I'll just put probably another 1 or 2 bags of compost in, and then we're done. Right, Ludo? Yeah. So yeah, it's an economical way of filling your garden beds, and also a way to actually keep the nutrients in to recycle with this Hugelkultur type of system. So yeah, thanks for watching the video, guys. Cheers. Connor, you agree? Yes.